Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
Tim Thurber,
Hello.
and this is State of Atlanta. And maybe I'll have a beer. There we go. I did not want to open
Well, how are you doing this today? This morning?
Yeah.
this morning. Not gonna lie, it's been a long day. It's been a when you go to a concert on a Tuesday night and then end up at Johnny's Hideaway. That was happening, by the way. It was
I'm
happening
sure.
last night. Man, I slept until like 10 and have just been like dragging ass all day long. But the 5 days of birthday celebrations has come to a close, so I can just go back to my regular nightly drinking routine.
Day 6. Hooray.
No, I don't know how much I would be drinking right now if we were not doing the podcast, to be honest with you.
It's bad when you kick David's ass.
Right? Yeah. Good time. Everybody missed out by not going to Steel Panther. So
I didn't
Anywho.
even look to see what it was, but Kim warned us. So
yeah, well, she always warns people, but then she actually enjoys herself when she goes to the show. She did not go last night. She stayed home with the kids. But yeah, I think somebody posted in the group that glam or parody glam metal. That's probably the best way to describe it. And it was
Yeah.
cool.
a good time.
Had it gone, I just didn't want to make time to figure all that out right then. It just bad timing for me.
Well, they come to town pretty much every year, so next year we can make it happen. Just don't know if it'll be
on your birthday
weekend. Yeah. So anywho,
We can pretend.
We can pretend. I want to pretend that game on Friday never happened.
What game?
It's been a long. The Kennesaw State game.
Yeah, that was rough. You know what? It wasn't rough for a long time, and then all of a sudden it was.
Yeah, all of a sudden we saw a team that was putting things together. We got a relatively big lead in the first half. I mean, I don't know if it got more than 10 points, but I know at one point it was at least a 10-point lead in the first.
And we were playing well. We were shooting well, playing well.
Yeah.
Everything was gelling.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was
until it wasn't
good. Yeah. And then I think we finished the first half. What was it, down like we were up like 3 or something like that. We were up 3. And then we scored less points in the second half we did in the first. And you just can't do that and win a game.
And I want to say at some point in the second half, we actually went up again, like 11 or 12 points. But then we just fell on our faces.
Did we get up that high again in the second half? I didn't remember that.
I felt like we were cruising like right up until very close to the end. And then we just weren't all of a sudden. It was like, oh, all right, basketball. Great.
Like some of those Ron Hunter finishes where we'd get up in a dominant team throughout the entire season. You get into the playoffs or the tournament bracket and you'd be up big, and then the last 5 minutes of the game would just absolutely kill you.
I think it's a problem in all sports across the board where coaches like I don't know like why this is the good advice, because it feels like it never works, is like go conservative at the end of the game, like change what you've been doing. It's like, on like football, your defense has been shutting down the offense all game long. And then you're like, oh, let's play prevent. I'm like, well, you've been preventing them with like good defense. Yeah. You don't play prevent. What are you doing? It's been working.
Yep. So I woke up feeling really pissed off about that game. The night of, when we had our drinks and we hung out and whatever, it was it was fine. Whatever. We lost another game. This is what happens. But I woke up and sitting over on the weekend, man, like this is like the worst loss that we've had since I've started following our basketball program. I feel like to have been what we were, to brag about the best basketball program in the state, so dominant for so long, and now we can't even beat a team that we used to schedule as exhibition
2 in a row.
We're scrapping. We're scrappy, but not in a good way, right?
At home in our brand new basketball arena, the house that Ron built. And
if only.
Well, I mean, it was
his, right? I mean,
we would have never. I guess Becker pushes for a convocation center either way, because we definitely needed a place to graduate the kids. But I think the real push for that was to get that place to play basketball. And now we've just been absolute garbage ever since we moved in there, and under Coach Hayes. So I don't know. I'm frustrated. How much more of a leash does Coach Hayes get, and does it matter? Will Cobb do anything?
I mean, I firmly said this is put up or shut up year, but
Right.
apparently no one thinks that it's next year. And I think in the NIL area and everything, you can't give coaches 4 years. You got to develop the talent. Blah blah blah. These kids are coming in and out constantly, right? They're
We've
entering the
had
role. They're coming in, new team, whole new team, almost whole new team. So like, if he doesn't produce this year, you got to cut.
He had 100% his own players year one. So like,
he's done it every single year. Every
it's like
year he's brought in a brand new team.
get like one. I think you get like 1 year less because of that. Because a lot of times you got to like deal with like either figure out who fits in your system or move people along and things like that. Like your first year is going to be a little bit tough, but like he replaced everybody in year one.
Yeah.
And the talent's been there. I mean, it appears to be the guys that he's bringing in come in with a great resume, skilled players, and then it's got to be the coaching then. If he's not able to coach the team well to get them to play together.
Yeah, to me it feels like it's got to be coaching. I don't actually like have a holistic view of the season yet. I know it was actually looking better than I thought.
Right.
For a little while there. I know Kennesaw is like just kind of a rough one to lose. But I mean, I still feel like there's plenty of time to come back and like have a pretty good season. And I do think I've seen some glimpses.
Really good team.
I'm not sure if Ryan actually finished what he
It'd be
was
nice to see
saying
him come
or
out.
froze.
Oh, you freeze?
Yeah. Well, you froze like right at the finish of a sentence. I don't know if you said anything else, but it was just like, all right.
A few glimpses of what?
I think you're glitching a little bit. I've been looking at Tim while you've been pausing, and he's not pausing. So I'm pretty sure it's you, David.
Oh, man. All right.
But,
well,
all right. So
Tim's not pausing for me either.
So
weird.
You know what's funny? I don't know if you looked at the box score at all, but what bit us in the end was free throws. They had 4 more free throws than us made, and we shot 64%. Again, if you just make those, we win. Not comfortably, but we win.
What did they shoot?
A win.
Do you know that? Do you have it pulled up?
Yeah, they shot 74% from the line.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is where you want to be.
Yeah. 3/4 of the shots.
I mean, you want to be perfect, but people miss. So
I
74.
clearly am wrong about that. I mean, they're way better basketball players than I would even consider like in my wildest fantasies being miss free throws. So
I mean, we made the same amount of shots, the same amount of threes. It was just free throws that was the difference in the game. We turned the ball over a little bit more, so we gave them more chances, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
It stung, man. I felt pretty good the second half. I was just looking at it. We had a 10-point lead, and I was like, okay, we're looking good. We looked good in the first half. Highest lead was 11. They made a little bit of run towards the end of the first half. We're now back up by 10 midway through the second. I'm feeling good.
Yeah.
And then they just slowly started chipping away at that lead.
They the Kennesaw team never gave up. You could definitely see that. They were, playing hard the entire time, and they were coached better. So, but we talked about you. So, Tim, you said, you think this is the put up or shut up year, but do you think that Cobb will actually pull the trigger?
No.
I
think he'll get another year. If we have like mediocre mid performance from him, he'll still get the next year. I'd like to cut bait if we have a mediocre mid year and it's not upper. I want to be in the upper echelon of the Sun Belt. I mean, I want to be the top 3, but I'd expect at this point you're in the top 6.
Every year that we play like this crap, that's a year further removed from when people recognize Georgia State as a good quality basketball program. And I don't want to get to that point where we are just a crap program again, because Georgia State was
like stuck in the rut.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll be like Georgia Tech when they were good and they fell off, and everyone's like, what happened to Tech? And it's still that way for the most part.
Yeah.
And Georgia for that matter. I mean, Georgia should be killing it, and for some reason they just can't get it together. So we need to get back to our Sun Belt dominance. We need to get a good, I won't say good coach, but another good coach in.
We can lose to Kennesaw State, 20 times in a season, but it doesn't really matter anything. It matters how we play against the conference schedule. And I was looking at some of those matchups, and I think all that crap is garbage. I think they just pretty much go with whoever the home team is, and they say, "All right, the home team's gonna win," because the teams we play twice, they'll have us favored by 60-something% in the first matchup when it's here, and then the exact same team 2 weeks later, the other team gets a 60% chance of winning or something like that. So it's just it's a crapshoot. I have no idea. But we're playing Charlotte this week. Charlotte's not been a good team. They're 4-4. I think they haven't won an away game yet. So a chance to
perfect. It's a perfect setup for us.
Perfect game for us to lose and come back here and bitch and moan about it for another week until the conference play starts. Yep. But
attendance wasn't Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, 2 o'clock on Saturday, and then we're at Auburn on Tuesday. Yeah, I plan on being there.
Cool.
That's the plan.
Attendance was decent to the Kennesaw game too. That was
there was a lot of Kennesaw people there.
I was gonna say I noticed the cheering was just as loud for them as against them as for us and against us. Like it felt like it was a pretty even divide, at least like just sound quality. It was really hard to tell who was there for whom because no one was wearing team colors really. Like everyone was just sort of there in their street clothes, and I swear to God, it was just loud on both sides and.
Except for the banana.
Who was who?
Except for the bananas.
The guys with the bananas.
We knew who they were.
Pretty clear. They were pretty clear. There's always a few people, but I just was looking around and I was like, I don't know who's a fan of who.
The funny thing with them is like they were pumped for most of the game, and then they started just sitting down and being like a regular Georgia State fan. It infected them. They're like, oh, we just sit at games and sort of cheer.
Yeah,
but the atmosphere was pretty cool with all those people. Like it did feel good. There were lots of like everyone was loud and people were cheering on, like I said, for both sides. So like it definitely like got the blood pumping. It felt really good. It felt like one of those exciting games. You know, I think the in-state games are really good. I think they're really good for the program.
Should we be playing Kennesaw every season?
Based on the van experience and like the way that the atmosphere was, I would say yeah.
We should have an in-state Thanksgiving weekend basketball tournament at the box.
That would be rad.
That'd be fun.
Or State Farm would be cool.
Or State Farm. Yeah. I mean, we want the profile.
Georgia's playing in a tournament at State Farm this month. So
are they?
Why couldn't we?
No. We should figure out how to get into that.
Used to play in the Omni.
Yeah.
Like a regular games. I never went to a game when we played in the Omni. I only went to like 2 or 3 basketball games ever before the Ron Hunter era, and that was just like because I happened to be on campus at night and there was a game going on. I was like, oh, I guess I'll do that until my next class starts or whatever.
I think when I was a kid, we drove up from Athens and I saw a circus at the Omni.
Okay,
that's all I got. That's all I got.
I saw Jermaine Dupri at the Omni, but like just there watching a basketball game.
I don't think
he sat in front. He literally sat like not directly in front of me. He was like the seat, but like 2 or 3 rows ahead of me. So yeah,
I don't think I ever experienced the Omni other than just the new arena once it was.
I couldn't tell you anything about it. Nothing. I just think I may have seen a circus there when I was young.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I guess that's basketball, right?
Yeah. How about that baseball stadium? That baseball groundbreaking.
Still time.
10 days. 10 days. I looked it up. Winter starts on December 21st. It's the 11th. So we got 10 days for them to break ground over there.
Cool.
Yeah. The schedule came out for that. I didn't really go through it at all. So don't worry. Ryan had to go through all that, but we'll figure out a game to go to at some point.
We play series with everybody. Some of them are home. Some of them are away.
Sometimes there's 3 of them. Sometimes there's 1 of them. Yeah.
Honestly, we're gonna look pretty good, but we're still gonna lose a bunch of games anyway. We're gonna score a shit ton of points. We're just gonna hit just a lot of home runs and still lose.
We could go to a Wednesday afternoon game. We got Georgia coming in. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to go to one of those games, but
or Kennesaw, Georgia, Kennesaw. Those would be good ones.
Yeah.
The Wade Tech game, remember that?
The Wade Tech, the Wade Tech at I guess because we went and saw them up in the
we did
Coolray. That was definitely a home game for us. That was fun though. I liked that. That was Georgia. Oh, I saw. We went to different games. One of us saw Georgia, the other saw Georgia Tech, right?
I saw Georgia, I think.
Okay, I may have seen.
I don't know. Maybe an inverse. I can't remember. All I know is it lasted forever because it went in extra innings.
Yeah, extra innings. That's right. So
I don't see one of those games on the schedule. That's kind of sad.
No, they stopped doing that. I think last year was the first year they stopped. They only did for like 2 years or something like that. And I think last year was the first year of not doing it. So that's a bummer, but it was fun. I was a pain in the ass to drive all the way up there on a Wednesday or whatever it was, Thursday,
traffic and everything. But, now I was referencing the Tech game we went to in Atlanta. Remember that?
That was a blast.
Remember the beer guy?
The beer guy moved his entire cart over just so he could see us when we needed new drinks. Yeah, let us know when they were going to shut it down. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. We had signing day. Football signing day was last week. That's Wednesday.
How did we do? Do we get all the points? Did we get a ranking?
All the points. Yeah, best in conference.
Have we held it?
Yeah, I checked it today. We're still top. I think that the rankings across all programs are a little wacky because Ben spends so much time getting all of our players ranked and all that kind of stuff, and there's other 24/7 sites that don't do that or they don't have anybody in that capacity. So some of them look weird.
Cheating. We're cheating.
No, cheating. I looked at the national rankings, and we still are like one of the top, if not top, G5 program.
Nice.
So,
also, I mean, that is true every single year that Ben is there, and there are not other Sunbelt teams doing that, and we're not number one. So, I mean, if you like normalize it over time, it's like, well, like we would be number one every year if that was the reason we're number one. But I feel like we're trending in the good direction with recruiting. Like that, that's the most I'll say, right? Recruiting is whatever. You can't really grade a class until they're out of here. So, but it seems like it's trending in the right direction.
I mean, it seems like best recruiting class ever. I'll take it.
Hell yeah.
Keeping some of our players that are being offered high dollars to go elsewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. David, what are you going to say about it, though? We can't hear you. I think you're going to say one of our players was offered, I believe, $400,000 to stay or to leave Georgia State, and he's staying. Hey,
talk amongst yourself for a second. I got to attend to a thing.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we heard through the grapevine at the hospitality,
the box. Yep.
One of our Ted Hurst had been offered $400K to go somewhere else, and then we got the news today, I think, right? That said I'm staying. And it seems like the argument to stay was going to be based on what we heard in the hospitality suite was going to be, you got to see the field to go to the NFL. Like you might lose a little money this year, you might lose $400K this year. But you're much more likely to move on if you're on the field playing than if you go up to one of these major programs and sit on the bench the whole time.
Right. And I think it gives him another season to kind of show out. And then the year after, he can get offered, I don't know, $1 million, 1.2. I don't know. Whatever stupid amount of money schools are offering kids these days to get in the portal and transfer. Ooh.
Yeah, because we've seen. Am I muted still? No, there we go. We've seen guys that have left, and there's Jamari Thrash is a notable exception. Marcus Carroll may turn out to be one as well, but most of the time when these guys leave, they don't get the same playing time they had before, and so maybe you could get $400,000 by going somewhere else, but then you don't get NFL looks or you don't get the playing time you wanted and whatever. So stick around here, play, be the big stud on campus, and then maybe you get a much larger payday. But something's going on, because if there's money like that being offered to these kids and he's gotten all of them to stay, was it you guys were talking about Hurst? There's also Fleming, the tight end, and then Freddie Brock.
He's staying.
These are guys that we just knew, like, that was count those guys gone. They're going to be going somewhere else, and to get them to stay here, that's McGee's doing something. I don't know what he's saying or promises. I hope he's not making any promises he can't keep, but whatever he's doing, it's really impressive. So it's exciting to see that when you have teams like we saw today, Marshall,
the entire team
is practically entering the portal, and they're going to a bowl game. Like,
How does that work?
Are they? I mean, who is they at this point?
Well, I know. I mean, like, because typically when you enter the portal, that means you're no longer playing, and who are they playing for? They don't have a coach either.
Well,
but
they
yeah,
kept saying like almost everyone or basically everyone. They kept like modifying it a little bit, and it made me think that maybe there's like 3 or 4 like walk-ons who like would not be transfer portal, but like they're technically on the team or something. I don't know. Did you ever see anything about that?
I didn't go look and see who specifically had entered and who did not be. I took the same way. There's probably a half dozen kids that know they couldn't go, or probably grew up there and just always wanted to go to Marshall or something like that, and just something like that. But yeah, I mean, they're scheduled to play in the the Independence Bowl against Army.
How are they going to do it if they have no players?
Yeah.
I mean, no players.
Are we going to see like the first bowl game that has to be canceled, or a replacement team has to be thrown in because the team can't attend because there's no players?
Very well, maybe.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, we've got a 5-7 team in the Sun Belt, not us, that did not get a bowl. They could take that spot. So
I was gonna say I actually need to redo my bracket because I went through it and I actually I truthfully got to a rematch for the final, Georgia, Texas, for the 3rd time. I picked Georgia to win because I'm a homer.
Okay.
But I actually want to go back and pick Texas to win, because wouldn't that just be the way that you play the same team 3 times, you win twice, you lose once and you're no longer the national champion. I think that would be like the best way to kick off this new playoff era. Just with like a total shit show. Everyone would be upset. It would be hilarious. And
it'd be very Georgia of Georgia,
it'd be very college football playoff too. I mean, like every year it's Georgia and Alabama, and then it's been now it's Georgia Texas this year. But Alabama has played in it every single year for however long, and it's just so funny how like nothing seems to change, even though they're trying.
Right. Oh yeah, but Bama's at home this time, and I'm here for it. I'm here for them not being here. I think it's great. I mean, I'm not sure if SMU was necessary. I was surprised that Miami was left out. That's the one that I thought was really surprising.
Those are bad laws. Syracuse at the end, like they showed that towards the end, you're supposed to be the strongest and you're losing games, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't do it. It's just poison to get in.
Yeah,
you can lose the beginning.
I do not.
I'm
have
a whole
Georgia
package
winning.
kind of guy,
Yeah.
I do not have Georgia winning. I have Oregon going all the way, but I think I have them beating Georgia for the championship.
I didn't know what to do with Oregon. I don't know anything about them this year. I've not seen.
They're fast. They're sexy. They have every single uniform known to man.
I think they won. They won the very first college football playoff. So I just feel like they'll win the 12-team.
I see.
They beat Ohio State, I think, in the very first one.
That's always good. That's always nice to watch.
Yeah. So PSA, you can join our college football playoff pick'em. Like I said, I won't say bowl pick'em, but it's not bowls really. It's playoff.
They are still bowls apparently.
But they're in bowls.
Weird, which is stupid. So you can be like whoever wins is going to be a 3 bowl winner, I guess, right? Because they will have played in 3 bowl games and won them all,
and a home game. Some of them could be playing a home game.
Yeah. Just be thankful we didn't pick the college bowl pick'em, because that's a lot of games.
Oh yeah,
we've done that before.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
We have.
Did we do that before? I don't remember doing that.
I feel like
we've done that, but it's less interesting because there's so many. Half the NCAA teams play.
And crazy. you gotta like pick Sunbelt teams, and that's tough.
Yeah,
no one wants to do that.
Speaking of, I was looking at our schedule today, and every team we played. Every FBS team that we played, with the exception of App and ODU, are going to bowls. I mean, Marshall notwithstanding, we don't know what's happening there. But like that's
but they belong in a bowl.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're the conference champion. So it's just crazy. Back on that again, it's just crazy. They win the conference championship. Coach leaves the next day, and then a week later.
And hold on, for a lateral move, Southern Miss is I mean, it's not
the money.
The position's lateral, but the money is not lateral. somebody's like, I don't understand why he would go there, and I'm like, I can think of 1.2 million reasons why he'd go there.
Yeah, no, totally. It still just is not a move that you typically see in our level, right? You're either getting canned and sort of moved around. You're probably going to be like coordinator somewhere, or you're moving on. You're going to get hired on as a P5 head coach because that's what you've worked on doing. It's sort of weird to see a Sunbelt to Sunbelt coach.
And they're a very passionate fan base down there in Mississippi. So, I mean, if you go backwards in time, they had some amazing teams. And so he's probably thinking about that. He's thinking about the $1.2 million he's going to get.
That's what he's thinking about.
And he wasn't very well liked.
Damn.
He wasn't very well liked at Marshall.
No.
I mean, he wasn't a bad coach. His contract was up at the end of the season. They hadn't, I don't know what kind of talks they had, but he did not have a new contract or anything. And I mean, you talk to the Marshall fans, they're kind of like, oh, of course, he's on the way out, and we win the conference championship. Now we'll be stuck with him for another 6 years and everything. And they just weren't. They didn't care for him at all. So I say good for him.
I mean,
it's a lateral job, but your work life is so much better than what it was. You have people that want you to be there.
I say if your fans are mad you won the conference, they're doing something wrong, not you.
Can you imagine if Southern Mississippi than I would in Huntington or whatever the hell he is?
Can you imagine if he was our head coach and he was doing that well and we didn't extend him and he left? You know how pissed we'd be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we just won the Sun Belt, and Charlie Cobb finally fires a coach.
Exactly. I mean, they're like, what? He's 32-20 or something like that. So what someone told me. I mean, that's shit. If you look at our records,
it's pretty good. We don't have a coach that looks like that.
No,
we've never had a coach with a winning record. So,
God, that's weird.
It hurts.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, that's just crazy.
Weird
good
situation.
Luck. Well, good luck to Coach Huff and Southern Miss.
I mean, I like that I can root for him now because I like Southern Miss and he's on the west side of the conference. So we won't see him for another 6 years or something because we played him last year, 2 years ago.
And I think Marshall made a hire, right? They hired an assistant from a school that's not doing too hot in then P5.
I'm not sure what they got.
Yeah.
And then like in App State, if they fired their guy and they got somebody that was like an OC or something who wasn't very good either. So
they're a very like pointed fan base. They're like, get rid of him, and school just does it.
Marshall is the former North Carolina State defensive coordinator, Tony Gibson. I don't know who that is, but from NC State.
Well, there you go. Not that far of a drive, I guess. But anyhow, not that it matters too much. Do you guys care about these bowl games at all? I mean, I'll have something on because there's always games on, but I don't think there's any Sunbelt games I'm specifically interested in watching.
If you ask me who from the Sun Belt is playing in these bowl games and who they're playing, I wouldn't know.
All but one or two of them.
Louisiana, I know, is in it, and I know Marshall's in it.
Yep. Yeah.
Texas State, they're in it, right? They made
Texas it. State, yeah. Everybody in the East made it besides us. I say everybody. The 4 teams. Everybody. Coastal, Marshall.
Someone's got a good team. Right? Someone has a good matchup, I think. It's a P5 matchup, or is it American?
Well, I mean, actually, had everything not gone to crap at Marshall, it's against Army, who was like ranked number 22 or something. That's actually a pretty good be a conference champ versus a top 25 team. I think Texas State is playing in Dallas versus North Texas. I mean, that's a good matchup for them. I mean, I don't care about, that game myself, but whatever.
Is there another one that's a good away team or no?
Not really.
Maybe I dreamt it. I don't know.
I mean, Coastal's playing at home in the Middle Beach Bowl. Yeah.
I'm actually kind of glad we don't have a bowl game because could you imagine if we get to bowl games and all we do is stay here?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool. Yeah. Be easy for us.
No. Part of it's going somewhere.
You go somewhere. Tim, you're always traveling.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. A part of the bowl game is fun of going somewhere.
It is fun. It is fun going. Yeah. Those couple trips to Orlando were great. Even the Alabama was awesome. I've had a good time.
Fun day. A little Christmas day trip for you there.
Yeah, no, and it worked out with the way my family does Christmas and stuff. That was awesome. So,
well, we do have two of our opponents playing in a game that I think is great. Is in the Birmingham Bowl, you got Tech and Vandy.
So, I know, and it's only like a 2.5 point difference or something like that.
Is that what it is?
I saw a couple days ago, it might have changed by now, but
yeah, I that one. I got some friends that actually want to go to that game, so I may go out there for that one, just to root for Vandy, so that the triangle is complete. We beat Vandy, they beat Tech, Tech beat us, and we'll never really know who the better team was. So
clearly,
it's impossible to know at that point.
You can't tell. You can't tell where it's all exact same team, even all the way around. Yeah. Speaking of bowl games, I posted this in the group chat. Something that I was thinking about with all these people entering the portal and just opting out and everything. Bowl games should be paid games now with the NIL and everything. Just all bowl games become salary games. You get, obviously your national championship game or whatever is going to pay a lot more than what the Birmingham Bowl is going to pay. But yeah, I think that they should. These players should be getting $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, something like that for playing these games.
Look, the bowl games right now don't matter because nobody cares. It's the NIT of football, right? It's you didn't make the playoffs, you're in a bowl game, or you're not, whatever. But like it doesn't mean a whole lot. I would love to see my team play like one more game, but like I am less excited this year to watch other teams play in bowls than I ever have been, because I'm really interested in watching the playoff, though. Like I'm more excited about football this year than I have been in many years as well. So, just less excited about bowl games. They shouldn't try to merge the systems. Just be like, hey, we're either doing bowls or we're doing playoffs. Like let's pick it. I know there's contracts and all that shit, and there's a lot of money involved.
The TV money, you're not going to get away from that stuff.
I know they have to like suss it all out over time and all that stuff, but like still, I mean, it's just stupid to me. It's like the championship games too. Like the P5 championship games are just like they don't mean anything.
Yeah, they really like not this year when Texas and Georgia both got in. And then no, that's why I think you pay the players. You give them an incentive to really want to be there and play hard, and so you're going to see the team. And bowls were always really exhibition games. I guess your top contenders back before they had the BCS and everything. Your top contenders were still kind of prove that they were the number one team to all these subjective putting. But no, it's getting that trip, getting that little vacation, going somewhere different you have not gone before, playing a team that you'll never play again, most likely, unless it's Western Kentucky.
And you would still have players that like were wanting to move on to the NFL or were star players, and they would like sit out like maybe a pro day, or the Pro Bowl. Like you might not go play it because you got other things you need to worry about besides getting injured at an exhibition. But it's still, I mean, the fact that you call it that, I mean, that shows kind of the problem with the bowl game system. Is like, it's okay, cool. It's just like another game that doesn't really mean a whole lot. It's fun to win. You like winning, but like it doesn't do anything.
Like you comparing it to the NIT, it's like, well, it's a 1 round NIT, and when you win, you go nowhere.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Congratulations, you're advancing to nothing.
It's a play into nothing.
Right.
You get to be like, oh, cool, I won this trophy, I guess. But like, if half the I guess if half the teams go to a bowl and it's more than that, and half of them get a trophy, who cares? Who cares?
Would you be more interested if they cut the bowl games in half and made it harder to get in? 7 wins.
I think it should just be maybe even just expand the playoff one more round or something. I already think that it's I think 12 is a good number. I like 12.
People are losing their minds over the playoffs, the way that they're constructed right now with teams like Clemson getting in and after like playing a crap season, and then the Bama out, and then the auto bids. People are already wanting to get rid of the auto bids. They don't like Boise State as a 3rd seed. They don't like that G5's even getting a spot in there
to prove that you earned the right to be there. I mean, holy crap.
I understand the argument of your top 4 ranked teams should probably be the top 4 teams that get the bye.
Right.
But I think that, we talk about conference championship games not mattering. Well, this is a case where it does matter. So, if you want to get that first round bye, then, beat the teams on your schedule and win your conference championship. Mm-hmm. Right. I don't think people expected a Mountain West team to get a third third seed in the
I don't think
playoffs.
the CFP thought that would happen either.
But it's also,
wait,
everybody thought. Go ahead. Sorry. Everybody thought that the 12th spot was always going to be the G5 team. That just go ahead and pencil in whoever the American team or the Mountain West team would be that 12 seed, and that's just what they're going to be. And nope, they're staying at home watching the first round of games on TV with everybody else. So
it's weird that they concocted this thing and didn't see this coming, and now that they have it, they're like, well, shit, what the hell did we do wrong? This isn't supposed to happen.
No, it's a feature. This is what people like about basketball playoffs is that you get these random ass teams like Boise State in the middle of nowhere, Idaho. And I know they're not like coming out of nowhere. I mean, they have a history of being successful, not recent, but they do have that history. But like that's the thing that like outside fans want to see. Like I don't care about a lot of these teams, but like if there's a cool storyline about how they shouldn't be there, but like they've been playing lights out and doing like great and whatever, and you want to have all these storylines and stuff. I love that. I think that's great. That's great for the sport. I think that's great for fans. And it's great for I don't know. We should just keep doing that.
Like Clemson playing a meh season, showing everyone you can just back your way in if you aren't really the best, right? I love it. I mean,
did they win their championship though? I mean, they won it, didn't they?
Yeah, they won on a last-second field goal to beat us.
Yeah, they would.
And they were only in it because Miami screwed up, right?
Yeah, they would have not been they would have not been an at-large bid. Like they were not getting in the playoffs unless they won the conference championship game. And last-second field goal to do it got them in there. And like everyone's plans changed. They're like, we were getting ready for the holidays, and now we had to. Going to be playing in a playoff game. So
I mean, I think Georgia to the SEC championship was supposed to be like a really low probability thing, and it was funny because they clinched the number 2 spot before anyone clinched the number 1 spot, which is I haven't seen anything like that ever. But
it is insane. I would like them to expand the playoffs one more round, only to get another G5 team or 2 in, right? Mm-hmm. Unless the CFP then starts weirdly ranking G5 teams. We're like, well, you can only have one inside the top 15.
I mean, it was supposed to be the top 5 conference champions, and they had to drop it to the top 4. Well, they'd have to. They chose to do that when the Pac-12
Can you imagine?
Collapsed.
Well, the Pac-12 dissolved. So
right.
So it was 6 teams. It was 6 teams that got whatever it was. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
I would like
back, baby.
I would like double it up another round. I mean, I could see him adding I think we're chatting on the group thread, adding a playing game for 4 more teams to have the first round.
Well,
and not making it too big, but I'd rather have a full first round
and get rid of some bowl games. Just move the bowl games over there. Let those be,
and then pretty soon you'll have this gigantic tournament.
One big bowl.
Well, see, I think that the conferences, especially these conferences that are ginormous, they should keep their last week of the season open and do flex scheduling to kind of build kind of like a play-in game for the conference championship or something like that. So because you have 20 teams in your conference and you have 3 of them that never played each other, and you got to pick the 2 that are going to be representing yourself in the conference championship. No, take the top 4, and then it cascades down. So the crap teams will play the crap teams or whatever it is. But you get 4 teams playing in that last week, which this will never happen because that's a rivalry week, and Georgia's always playing Tech and Auburn, Alabama, all that kind of stuff. But if they did something like that, where they left 1 week or the schedule open to kind of build in a tiny playoff within the existing conference schedule slate of games, I think that would be a lot of fun as well. But
I think there's a lot of room to kill these weird standalone bowl games and like bolt them onto the playoff just to make them more meaningful. The problem though with the power programs, the power conferences, is that you got like the 15 best programs all in the 4 top conferences, and so that's the reason the championship doesn't make sense anymore. Like if it was more if the quality teams were more evenly distributed across conferences in general, then a conference champion would make a lot more sense. But because they're all like concentrated at the very tippy top, those conference conference championships that's why they don't mean anything, because it's like they're all ranked super high anyway, so who gives a shit? Like, just doesn't make any sense. It makes sense for Sunbelt, but it doesn't really make sense for them. So,
although, man, that game, the Georgia game, was intense.
Great, good game. Good defensive game, really.
I was gonna say at halftime, like, Ryan's loving this wherever he is.
Part of the problem though is Texas just couldn't throw the ball, and that's not as interesting to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. Tim, you sent a thing over to us before, a little while ago about who is it? The former owner of the Bucks, the basketball.
Oh yeah,
the Bucks. Yeah.
Yeah. And you want to talk about what he was proposing or saying that's happening behind the scenes right now?
Yeah. So he couldn't obviously name names, but he's in talks to buy college football teams, essentially, to help fund them so they can do facility enhancements and all the things that top tier teams need. But essentially, it's rich people finding a way to become even more rich, I think, when it comes down to it. So, like, they want to say if the school's value, they make $100 million, right, per year. They're saying, hey, we'll sell 51% of the team. We'll make 50 million times whatever multiplier over whatever years to help offset some of the costs they're having. Obviously, it doesn't help for NIL because, well, schools can't contribute to that. It's not a write-off. So
right, but they do get, like, the example he gave is like, it'd be $500 million. $500 million buys you half of a 51% stake in some college program that's making $100 million a year. So they get their cash flows going that way, and the school gets $500 million to do stadiums, do facilities, do whatever they want to do with that.
It's like capital investment.
Yeah, capital investment, the whole thing.
Why not?
I mean,
set up.
And it sounds like, he said he's already talking to, like, 3 or 4 schools about doing this. And
honestly, I hope we get scooped up, because it gives. I mean, like, if an investor walked into a room and saw the way the program was going right now, they would be like, "No, you're fixing this, or I'm pulling all my money," and they'd have incentives to fix the freaking program. So.
Yeah, well, we're not going to be getting $500 million from an investor. There's no way that Georgia State's generating that kind of revenue. I mean, it'd have to be like
$350 and a little bit of lint in my pocket.
$3.50. It would be great though if some investor looked at us and said, "Hey, they got a lot of potential. I think I want to invest in that," and try to
There might be some weird problems with student fees driving some of the revenue and all that stuff with some of that. I would really be nervous about that.
Maybe that's part of the stipulation. Maybe student fees get wiped away with that investment or something like that. You don't know. I mean, they'll find a different fee to charge a student anyways, because once
they charge them, and they would just go towards something else. They would use that to beautify the campus somewhere else, or
student amateur athletic fund fee.
Yeah. So we'll see when something like that happens. I think that with Belichick going over to UNC, I mean, you're going to start seeing some dramatic changes in the way college programs are operating. Because
he get hired.
He got hired.
He got hired.
Announcement today.
But
yeah. But like he's before this all happened, he was on record talking about if he were to be a head coach of a college football program, how he would do it differently, and basically say run it like an NFL team, run like a professional sports team. I mean, they're just going to be buying players left and right. There's not any qualms about it. There's not going to be recruiting. He's not going to go into some kid's house, sit on a couch, and convince him to come play at UNC. He'll be like,
here's your offer.
Yeah, we're offering you $20 million to come play for us, or we're offering you $1 million. We're offering you whatever it is, and that's what the deal is.
Can they make it a contract though, or is it still just like, here's a bunch of money?
It seems like you have a 2-year contract. My whole thing has been like, coach can leave, why can't players, right? But like, coach has a contract. Coach has like a 4-year contract, and if he leaves after 3 years, then he's got to pay part of that contract back, because there's a penalty. You broke the contract, or you didn't break it, but like you entered this clause,
right?
I don't. Why can't we just do that? And or even simple. More simple than that. We'll pay you this much if you start. And we want to start you, but like, if you don't earn it, we're not going to do it. and or we give you X number of dollars for every game you play in, or something like that. Adding some incentives, but like putting it in a contract. And I don't know the details here, but does the NCAA just sort of say like our rules are the contract right now?
I guess so. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but there's apparently they are signing contracts in the forms of NDAs, and because people are not announcing necessarily what they're actually getting, which has led to some inflated numbers as well.
Because we're just relying on the kids to tell us.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, I'm getting paid $1 million a year. Like, and
$2 million, man.
Reality may have gotten $100,000 or something like that. So, you don't know.
It's the list of offers on any given recruit. You should always sort of side eye because chances are we got that list from them.
Right.
18-year-old kids are always brutally honest with everyone. No.
Honestly, coaches lie to them too. So they might think they might legit think they have an offer that they legit do not have.
Well, I think that's what the speculation is. I think that's the speculation with those one or two kids that left TDS, is that they were promised some NIL money and they didn't get it, and so they're like, oh hell, I'm not going to play here. I'm going to leave if you're not going to pay me what you agreed to. Or they've had I think there's another kid suing one of the programs because he was told he's going to be getting $100,000 and then like they made like a $10,000 payment and then just like stopped returning phone calls. That thing.
Contracts. You need contracts for both sides.
Call the NIL office that doesn't have a phone number.
Right. So
yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I got for this week, guys.
I feel like that's a pretty good amount for no more football and basketball sort of chigging along.
Yeah, they're trying. Basketball's trying. They're just
they can't figure it out. Basketball can still be like I'm not like I don't know. It's a lukewarm season so far. We've played well. We've played poorly. I feel like we played more poorly than we have well. But like if you go look at the stats, that's not true. Like we actually have been okay.
We are going to go on a large home stretch to start the conference schedule. It'll be incredibly important to win all of those games. Start out strong and win at home, because we end up ending the season, I think, 4 games on the road to end the season, because Sunbelt doesn't know how to operate a calendar. But
they're still working on that. Yeah,
it's really important that the team gets off to a strong start. If we're 4 games into the conference schedule, we don't have a win, or 1, maybe 2. It's not going to be. It's going to be a long road ahead. So,
hey, the good news is everyone makes the tournament, right? So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you like 37 games in a day to figure out who the winner is.
I know. You've looked at that, haven't you?
It's so stupid.
I love this conference. It's great.
Words you'll never hear me say, even sarcastically.
You can't get yourself to do it.
All right, you want to take us out of here, Tim?
Yeah, sure. Thanks everyone for listening. We are going to take a quick break, grab some more beers, head over to Last Call. If you like what you heard or you didn't, join our patreon.com/State of Atlanta. You'll get live access to Last Call, discounts on merch. Maybe the merch he has in his hand, probably not.
Oh, that's just a freebie.
Group chat action, which is extremely lively. Probably some smack talk coming up with the college football playoff bracket. Breaking news and adult beverages at tailgates and select basketball games, because we don't do it every time. $5 a month is all it takes to become a fan of the show. We'd love to have you aboard. Say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye, guys.